character? I mean, it's such a treat to get to play. I mean, when I got the episode last year and got to see 13, which was root cause that I wasn't actually in, but the character was in, it was kind of fun to get to come into a character that actually had already been established, and you know, that I saw like what her motives were just from like an outside point of view, and then stepping into the role.
Were you actually in those shots?
That was not me. No, that wasn't me. So I just came.
That would have been very prescient casting. That would have been uncanny.
Yeah, it was funny because I cut my hair. You know, I had long hair forever, and I cut it right probably a week before they called and said, "Can you play the girl with the long brown hair?" And I was like, "Yes, but one thing."
So is it more fun to play sort of a rebel? I guess I bet Ruth doesn't think she's evil.
You know, I think as an actor, it's been a great role, and what was so exciting for me about the first episode was just that I love having that sort of flip where you thought that I was in trouble and that they were coming to rescue me, and then getting to turn and shoot someone in the head. I mean,
She can drink too much.
Starting out as such a nice Fred was so
yeah. So I always think that those characters are really fun to play, where you get to sort of just flip things on their head. And when I got the episodes this season, and after I left, they were like, we don't quite know what Ruth's going to turn out to be next year. And I was like, wow, what's going to happen? And you know, just getting these chunks of dialogue that she's just lecturing Finch forever about computers and the world, and I was like, I'm sorry, Michael, you hate listening to me talk. I felt like I was just talking at him for hours, but it was it's just a really fun character, and getting to be with him and act opposite both him and John. It was a real treat.
The weird thing about your career is, like I said, at the time I interviewed you, I didn't know who you were, but the minute I left, and I was like, oh my God. Your career is like in this weird mix where you're like this real famous, how did that, or what's that like doing like in that book?
You know, I think of that as kind of a lucky thing in a way, because I feel like I've gotten to play such different and interesting roles, and a lot of it has come just from getting my start on Angel. And I mean, Joss has been extremely great to me and cast me in so many wonderful roles and projects, and you know, if he doesn't have someone for a part, he'll call me and say, hey, this starts tomorrow, can you come? So I've been really blessed to have him as sort of a mentor and a friend. And then from that, a lot of the writers who were on Angel have gone on. Everyone was so talented, they've all gone on to do their own thing. So, you know, getting to do a little thing on Once Upon a Time because of Jane, and getting to be on Grimm because of David Greenwald, it's just like all of my friends. It's been nice because they, you know, I think they are also talented, and the fact that they've asked me to keep working with them has been really exciting.
The company you keep clearly professionally is sci-fi, fantasy based. Are you drawn as a fan to those kinds of shows? Do you watch those kinds of shows, or?
I mean, I do.
Are you watching
I like the ones that are well written, and right. I think Person of Interest is that, and I think Once Upon a Time is that. I mean, I like watching those shows where they have great characters, and it's kind of like, I mean, this less so than Once Upon a Time is like an escapist sort of feeling. But I feel like as an audience member and as an actor, the characters are so rich, and you get to do such exciting things, and the stories can go in so many different directions, as opposed to like a real procedural where you know, you can watch an episode from season 1 and season 7, and it doesn't matter. Like your character, for instance, on Angel, starting out in a cave in an alternate dimension and ending up as a demon goddess, you know. I would have never seen that coming, but it's such
and you never get to say sentences like that too, you know.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you seem to enjoy it. Like, you brought up the Angel thing. I remember sitting there amazed, it's a real compliment to you, because you fell down as Fred, and you got up as Illyria, and it was just, I got that right, the name?
Yes.
And you got up as Illyria, and it was completely different, and I was so shocked that you could do that. You could get up and I am somebody new. On this show too, you seem to like, granted it's not as drastic a change, but to go from that, like,
Hey, I mean, that's the fun part about acting to me, is getting to do that and getting, even from show to show. I mean, like I said, going from Once Upon a Time to this, where I was like a pink, clumsy fairy, and then getting to shoot someone in the head. I mean, that's the great thing about
You were
being
the
an
best
actor.
fairy. You were the best.
And the great thing about the type of roles you pick, and maybe we can talk a little bit about like the threat process, is every role you pick, you don't pigeonhole yourself. And so it's like your personality is like the sweet, innocent, happy, bubbly person, but you put some really dark characters too.
Which is great. Then I don't have to take it out on my husband or
Do you purposely seek those movies out, or how do you kind of bring that out?
You know, I've just been sort of told, like, what kind of roles do you want to play? And I feel so lucky that I played like crazy, nerdy, scary, all of these things. And Much Ado that Joss did is coming out in the spring, and I'm like, this is like the first time I'm kind of like just playing like a normal girl.
I don't know that she's that normal.
Yeah, that's
well, I was going to bring that up because I saw it in Toronto, and it was delightful.
Thanks.
And so, I mean, how is that, kind of going from the television milieu, and then suddenly you're doing a movie, and as I understand it, it was kind of like, well, because it was an indie and you're kind of like trying to fit it in,
Yeah.
but it's also Shakespeare, right? It's like you're kind of running the gamut. What are the things what are you finding that you are being pulled back to do again?
I mean, that experience was just so special. I mean, not many people have friends who can, first of all, decide 2 weeks before, like, I'm going to shoot a movie at my house with all my friends, and then it gets into the Toronto Film Festival.
Right.
It was a really unique experience, but that is kind of coming full circle. The first job I had out of college was Much Ado About Nothing, and I played Hero at a theater company in Wisconsin.
Really?
So it all kind of comes back around, and I think the thing that I'm excited to do from that is that I really liked, people don't think of Angel or the show as being comedies, but I think all of these shows are really funny.
This show's pretty funny too. Caviezel and his deadpanning is funny.
It's so funny.
I think we have to wrap up, but one more question about the show is now it seems like your arc has ended for right now. Going on with the season, are you back again? Does your arc pick up more?
I am.
Will you be back?
He misses me too much.
Yeah.
Like a headache.
I think he's in love with me, don't you?
Against his will and drugs.
That would have changed.
I think it's meant to be.
Is it right away, or are we waiting?
No, I'll be back. I haven't been back yet, so I'm
Okay.
coming back soon.
Great.
Yeah.